Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. This week I am really excited of the books I'm actually going to be reading because I'm finally going to be continuing one of my all-time favorite YA fantasy series and actually read 2 books from the series this week. But let's sit down, have a seat, and talk about the books a bit more in depth. I'm so looking forward to the TBR for this particular vlog. The weather in Texas is also supposed to be so beautiful this week, so I'm also hoping to get some just walks in outside and enjoy the nice weather. Last week was so cold for Texas that it really got me. I just didn't like it. So I'm really looking forward to embracing the warm weather. But the 2 books I'm looking forward to picking up first is Akata Warrior, and then reading the very recent released Catawoman. I have been dying to continue on after I read the first book, which is Akata Witch, 2 years ago now, I want to say, and loved it. But when I saw that the 3rd book was finally being released, I knew I had to marathon books 2 and 3 back to back. I initially thought these were the last 2 books within this trilogy, but I actually believe the author has announced that she's going to be releasing more books in this series, which I am delighted to hear. I love Ninendi's Okorafor's writing so much. I've read a lot of her short stories and just other books as well, including the first book in the series, and have just been delighted. But if you're not familiar, the Akata Witch series follows our main character Sunny, and she has just recently moved back to Nigeria with her family at the beginning of book 1. She is having a hard time kind of making friends, fitting in. Sunny also has albinism, which makes it difficult for her to spend a lot of time outside playing soccer. She's super athletic, but she just is sensitive to the sun, so she does have to spend more time inside. But at the beginning of book 1, she finds out she has latent magical abilities, and from there she begins her magical training, starts to make friends, but also gets thrown headfirst into this side magical world that kind of lives alongside like mere mortals, non-magic users, if you will. And Sunny and her friends also kind of have to confront a dangerous conspiracy that's threatening the town as well. The first book was so good. Just the writing was amazing, and just how the author kind of constructed this magical place was just delightful. I love coming of age magical stories. I love a book that centers like new friendships and like working together to kind of thwart an evil power, and this series definitely has that. I'm really looking forward to picking up the next book. I hear it's even better than book 1, which I gave 5 stars, so we're just gonna have to see. And I just feel like these are going to be 2 new favorites, and I'm really looking forward to marathoning them both back to back and sharing my experience with you guys in this vlog. So welcome to this new reading vlog. It's currently Monday early afternoon. I'm about to actually take a step away and make lunch, but I wanted to say hello, talk about the books, and then we will begin reading in a bit. Clay and I are obsessed with making these for lunch recently, so made myself this, some cheese, salami, crackers, carrots and celery, and hummus. And I'm watching some of the new episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which we love. Hi everyone, it has been a day. It's like well past 7. I put on my pajamas and we're just gonna segue right from my lunch clip to starting dinner, because it is definitely dinner time. If there is a representation of today, it's this broken lamp, which fell and shattered into a million pieces, and we need to throw it away. But anyway, life goes on, as they say. Still boiling our water, still a water boil notice, no update from the city. So I gotta put a fresh pot on to wash all my food to cook it. Anyway, we're gonna start dinner. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You might recognize this dinner because I have leftover ingredients, so I'm making it again. Chicken thighs, and I'm gonna roast some broccoli. I have some leftover rice, and I'm gonna cook up some beans really fast. Fast and easy, tasty, and filling. And dinner is served. Convinced me to watch the Texas basketball game. So that's what we've been doing. Dinner was great. Now I will be getting back to reading soon. I love walking in here and just, Matilda is already ready for bed. She's like, I got my toy, I'm all comfortable, ready for bed. And I finally have my book, and I'm going to sit down and do some reading now. Got a little distracted by basketball tonight and some Olympic games. Very sporty evening, but I'm gonna focus all my attention on reading. Good morning, everyone, with the fresh cup of coffee and Matilda. I'm actually gonna sit down and do a smidgen of reading, but First, I want to talk about what I read last night because I did read about 50 pages or so, and I'm already obsessed with book 2. Hi everyone, I'm also dressed, love to see it. But again, I read 50 pages of Akata Warrior last night, and I flew through the first 50 pages and I only stopped because I fell asleep. But I just feel like this is such a special series, and I feel it could become the favorites of so many people if you just pick it up, because it just has the qualities of a book that will just pull you in. I would say this kind of sits between middle grade and YA. And again, we're following Sunny in the first one as she discovers that she has latent magical abilities. And so much of the first book is just starting the process of learning, going to magic lessons. And you also see her kind of become closer friends with 2 other individuals, Chi-Chi and Orlu, and all of them together just as a crew are just delightful. They all have very different personalities. Chi-Chi is very loud and bold and gregarious, and she kind of has her own like personal secrets that she decides to keep. She's like a princess, all these things. And then Orlu is much more reserved and quiet, but very, very smart. And then Sunny is very athletic, also incredibly intelligent. All of the characters are super smart, but they do also have kind of like different strengths, so they're able to rely on one another. Again, a lot of the first one was kind of like introducing Sunny and us to this new magical world, going to these different places and like starting her mentorship and her just like magical training. It's so delightful. If you love magic school style books, like this is a series you have to read, because this has that and more. And going into book 2, I have to say, 1, it has an incredible summary right at the beginning of the book, and even the narrative itself is like rather cheeky, which I like, because Sunny is still continuing her training as a magic user. Obviously she went through some wild trials and tribulations in book 1, and going into book 2, I'm sure new things are going to pop up, but continuing her training and becoming more well-versed in the leopard people ways is obviously her top priority. And the cool thing about this book is that it has, like at the beginning of each chapter, like excerpts from different magical books or magical pieces of educational material that Sunny is reading, and it's cool to just kind of get like a hint of the lore through this way, and I think it just works so well. Another aspect of this world I love so much is that obviously everyone has magic, but everyone also kind of has their own special type of magic, and usually it's derived from something that society would traditionally deem a disadvantage. Like for example, Sunny's albinism is kind of the root of her own special magical ability. Orlu has dyslexia. That is actually something that gave him a very special and powerful ability as well, which I think is just such a great message, really clever and just unique, and I just really enjoy that within this book. 50 pages into this book, nothing crazy or wild has happened yet. Obviously, being 50 pages in, I'm just at the beginning of the story, just kind of coming back with Sunny. Some time has passed between book 1. She is continuing her classes. We see her with Orlu and Chi-Chi, as well as with her magical mentor, and she's just kind of continuing to get settled. That being said, it does seem that her powers are growing a bit, and I'm sure larger conflict will soon reveal itself. Orlu, Sunny, and Chi-Chi had to basically, you know, save the town in the last book. I'm sure that's going to continue on in the rest of the books in the series, but just the imagination, magical quality of this world is just incredible. If you love any type of, like, again, magical lore, magical school, like coming of age story where someone comes into not only themselves but also into like a whole new world and has to learn, I just think you're gonna love this book, because I love this book. And the writing is spectacular. Nina and Diakorafor just is perfection. So anyway, I'm gonna sit down and do a bit more reading, but this is just such a delightful series. I love it so much. Adult Lunchables day 2. I had a different lunch plan, but we're still having to boil our water, but hopefully tonight, day 4, we'll be able to use it again. The recipe I have just, I don't know, it would just be annoying to like have to wash everything. So this is just so much less effort with a water boil notice. Anywho, it's also delicious. Could eat it every day. But tomorrow, salad is planned, hopefully, fingers crossed. Hi, it's about 5:30. I'm happy to report 1, it's still pretty nice and sunny outside, and 2, I'm going to sit down and get some reading done now that I finished up my urgent work for the day. Love when that happens. I'm really looking forward to reading more of Akata Warrior. The first 75 pages has just pulled me in immediately. I just love this world and the magic and just like the magical vibes of it all. Plus it's just like steeped with African and Nigerian culture, like on top of it all. It's just So entrancing. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to because I'm going to read. So I will check in a bit. I am about to start dinner, but I got this box of tea in the mail and I'm truly, hold on, speechless. I mean, isn't this just the most satisfying thing you've ever seen in your whole life? I mean, my goodness. I have recently started drinking more tea. I'm really into herbal teas, especially like sleepy time teas, like late evening tea options. I just didn't have any more in the house. So now, look at this. It's like speechless. Also, just got word from the city. Boil water notice should be gone tonight, which so excited about. So we're cooking something a little more complicated because we can wash our pans or hand wash our pans. Swear to God, I will never get tired of that, but just put the rice on to cook. I'm making burritos tonight, so I'm marinating some steak. I pre-chopped my veg. I have all my spices I'm gonna use to cook my vegetables. Keeping it kind of simple. Normally I'd make like a Spanish or Mexican rice to go along with it, but I also love plain white rice too, and we're just going to go do that because I don't feel like putting in the effort. I do have some avocados. I think I'm gonna smash up and make like a quick and dirty guacamole to put on this too, but we'll see. Hi, so while the first part of dinner is cooking / marinating, I wanted to talk about what I was able to read because I passed the 150 page mark of this book and I am so hooked right away, like as I've already said. So what I like about the feeling of this world is it kind of gives you the vibe of like opening up on a new school year. The board is a little bit reset. We follow Sunny and her friends Chi Chi and Orlu, as well as Sasha, whom I forgot to mention earlier in the clip, who's also part of their friend group. And each of them have their own magical mentor and they're attending classes together and they're just constantly like expanding their magical education, like running errands for their mentors and teachers and having to do like little trials to learn new things about the leopard world and society. And it's just like such a homey feeling to read this. And then obviously with Sunny herself, her powers are growing each and every day, and particularly she's noticed that her body is getting stronger and stronger as well, and she hasn't really mentioned this to anyone. Also interesting about Sunny as a main character is that again she is a free agent, and what that means in this world is none of her siblings or like direct parents have magical powers. It's much more common to be magical if your parents are magical. But she is trying to dig more into her family's past to try to find some magical connection, and she has found some documents and artifacts, so she has been researching those, and we as a reader are kind of slowly learning about Sunny's family and heritage through this as well. So far the book hasn't really wholly introduced like a new major magical bad guy, but we are obviously referencing some of the elements of the first book. There are things called, what I want to say, masquerades, and these are like forces of nature, like magical forces. Some of them are good, some of them are completely neutral, and then obviously some of them are really bad or have been corrupted even further. And these are the types of conflicts that Sunny and her friends sometimes have to run into. And what's also really cool is we get some insight on some individual magical training, because again each character kind of has their own specialty or quirk associated with themselves, and Sunny's is especially unique, and it's just cool to see her learn how to harness that with her mentor. So far 150 pages in, it's really just been about going to class, kind of getting resituated with Sunny in her world, though I feel like we're starting to see hints of some stuff, especially as there's some conflict that's kind of rising up within Sunny's family following one of her brothers, and I think she's going to try to help him, and I'm sure recruiting her friends. I also just love the dynamic between Chi Chi, Orlu, Sunny, and Sasha. It's just such a dynamic group of friends, and that each person is like very unique, has their own interests and quirks and personalities, but they are so fun to see together as a whole because they kind of like bring out the best in each other, and they challenge each other, and they're also like here to listen to each other. And I just love to see friendship, especially in books like this. But I could just go on and on. I really love this series. My goal for this vlog is to read this. This is just under 500 pages, and then start Catawoman. I don't think I'm gonna be able to read both over the course of this work week, but I'm gonna give it my darndest. But just wanted to give you a reading update because I have read a chunk more, and I'm gonna read more this evening as well. Working on dinner. My avocado's kind of already turned brown, which is a little sad, but should still taste good. Cooking my steak. I have my tortillas in here ready to heat up. I saw a TikTok today saying that people didn't know you're supposed to heat up tortillas. Heat up your tortillas before you eat them, preferably on the stove, but I'm lazy, so I'm using the microwave. But heat them up, people. I wrapped my own burrito in foil because it was absolutely not gonna stay together. So we gave it a little outfit, but I'm gonna eat because this looks so good. I have slathered on a face mask, a sleeping hydration mask, because my skin is like flaking off right now. It's so dry. And Clay and I put an episode of Our Beloved Summer on. We are currently on episode 3 and loving it so far. So we're gonna watch some of that tonight. And then I'm gonna go back to my book, and hopefully we can do away with our water bottle starting tomorrow. Just watched some Our Beloved Summer, and I am so unbelievably obsessed with that show. I'm falling in love with it on episode 1, and I feel like it's already catapulted itself into my top 5 K-dramas. Obviously I haven't finished it yet, so I can't give a final verdict, but I'm now going to lay in bed and read. I did wash my hair tonight, so excuse my bangs. I did that face mask so they dried, and this is what's going on. So I'm gonna need to restyle them tomorrow. But nonetheless, it's time to read. I'm gonna go to bed, and I will check in with you guys in the morning. Morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Cup of joe. And I'm gonna go sit over on the couch and get some reading in. I have gotten dressed, and I'm proud. I actually really like today's outfit. It's like this cowl neck sorta sweater vest situation. I layered a turtleneck underneath it for a little extra warmth. Yeah. Excited because the dressing I'm making for lunch this week is supposed to taste like the dressing you get at hibachi restaurants. It's like a very gingery dressing. So I put everything in this blender. I'm gonna whip it up. Sometimes life is about making really elaborate lunches for no other reason than it sounds fun. I really tried to make crispy tofu. The tofu absolutely immediately fell apart because I didn't feel like pressing it, which I don't know if that even helps. So I just covered it in a tasty sauce. The dressing came out amazing, and I still think the salad's gonna be super good, so I'm excited to put it together. All right, so the salad is ginormous, but it's also so tasty. Not to absolutely, I don't know, brag, but this is really good. My emotional support water bottle and I are back in business and could not be happier about it. Hi friends, good evening. I am about to change out of my daytime clothes and put it on my nighttime, my pajama clothes, nighttime clothes. But I wanted to talk about what I was able to actually read this morning and a bit throughout the day, because I'm officially 2/3 of the way through Akata Warrior. And I'm really liking this book. The author is so good at just like slowly building us up in this plot, which I really enjoy. Like again, we open up a bit slower, kind of reintroducing us not just to Sunny and the other characters, but also like following along in the mundane. Like I love a magic school setting, so sitting in and lessons, learning about new creatures, because Sunny and her friends are continuing their education, and so are we. So I loved that we got a little bit of that before things also started to get way more intense. There's a hint to some sort of like larger villain that has been omnipresent throughout this series, which they kind of have a dark reign on a lot of things. They're constantly meddling and like creating new terrible obstacles for not just our main characters, but like all of humanity. And what's cool is I feel like a lot of those like obstacles kind of manifest in like a real world issue. Like it's magical in origin, but like humans even notice it and they're reporting on it, almost like how can this phenomena occur sort of vibe, which I think is kind of an interesting connection. The other thing I will say, and this is also something I felt very much in the first book, is that this book is definitely intense. Like, there is a darkness, and also just like the stakes of everything is constantly there. Like, we are reminded that some instances are life and death. Like, magic can be dangerous, and also Sunny and her friends are a part of a society that has existed for thousands of years, a secret society, and they have rules and regulations, and even if they're harsh, like, they are in place. And the adults in this series, particularly the magical adults, like, are obviously there to lead and mentor these kids, but they also do not baby them. Not only do they give them their own agency, but like, if something goes wrong, like, there's a lot of consequences for them. And also just like its connection to magic, like magic is kind of neutral, or it can be bad too, just depending on what type of magic you're dealing with. So there's just this level of danger that the teachers are constantly trying to remind the students, and we often see like the outcome or the consequences of not being careful enough, which just also adds like an entirely different level of intensity, but also grounds the book in a really good place. And I just love this story so much. I love Sunny. I love her friendships. I love watching her grow up. I love her relationships with her brother. And I would say family is pretty central in this book, and that she's very close to her family, and just the conflict of having to keep these secrets of her magic from her family is also kind of an element that Sunny is working through itself. And all in all is to say, I'm very invested in the story. The large plot of this book is starting to really show itself, and watching all of the characters, Sunny, Chi-Chi, Orlu, and Sasha, like, have to problem solve through that is great. And I just love learning about the magic. Could sit here and just read a textbook from this world, because we get hints of textbooks or like literature and research from this world, and I could read a whole book of that. It's just too good. I'm making the same dinner as last night because we love repeat dinners in this household, plus leftovers. So just sauteing up some fresh onions and bell peppers, and I'll cook the steak, and then it's burrito time. Yum. What do you think about Matilda? Nothing? That's fair. Another overstuffed burrito that needs a foil dress to help it survive. I have Matilda here. Clay made us massive smoothies. It's like I got my own jumbo juice.
I can't keep getting away with it.
And we are gonna go right back into our beloved summer, because this show is truly 10 out of 10 so far. And just like that, we're back to reading. Can't wait. Hi friends, good afternoon. Here is my very loud outfit for the day. I got this coat on sale from Urban Outfitters. I think it's sold out now, but I just think it's so fun. It gives me like elementary school art teacher vibes, so we're rocking with it. I apologize I haven't checked in yet today. Clay and I just had some errands to run before work, and we got home and had to catch up on work, but I did read quite a bit of Akata Warrior last night, and I'm almost done. I'm actually gonna sit down now and wrap it up. I think I actually started today's vlog with lunch and it was delicious. But now I'm gonna have an afternoon cup of coffee and read. Millie is lounging, but I got my cup of joe and my book. So I'm gonna get some pages in and hang out with little Miss Matilda. Hi friends, I've changed into pajamas, and I also have read a lot of Akata Warrior, and I only have 80 pages left, and just continuing to sing the praises of this book. I'm obviously near the end game of the story, and primarily for the past good while I have been present on the sort of quest. Oh, Matilda wants under a blanket. Quest and adventure Sunny, Sasha, Orlu, and Chi-Chi are all on. One, I just really enjoy seeing them interact and work with each other. They all have like different strengths and weaknesses, and I really love how the author kind of gives them each a moment to sort of shine based on their own knowledge. They also have different levels of like throw caution to the wind, if that makes sense. Like Chi-Chi and Sasha are like don't think act first, versus Orlu is much more conservative and Sunny kind of falls somewhere in the middle. And you also have seen all of the characters kind of slowly become more and more into their own power and specialty, which you would expect kind of shifting from book 1 and book 2. And just seeing like more of this magical world. I love the magic that the author's been able to create. I really like when magic tends to have consequences, like kind of like that rule of alchemy, like there's a give and a take. So all the characters have to be really thoughtful with the type of magic that they use and have to be aware that there might be an outcome on them or nature around them. And that's kind of this conversation about balance is very present within the story, often because evildoers are destroying this balance, resulting in bad things happening around them. The overall mystery of this world and like meeting other types of mythological or people kind of rooted in folklore is so cool, and you continue to see that, and also just meet more like supernatural creatures, and you get to see them kind of travel to other places around Nigeria. And I just think it's just so imaginative and gripping, and it's all about like personal trial and tribulation, but also obviously like a quest. You're just, the arcs just like flow with each other so well and you just become so involved in the story, and I just cannot put it down. Family and family ties and kind of the burden of keeping secrets continues to be an aspect of the story, which I appreciate being explored. All in all, the pacing of this I have not been able to put down, especially as it's begun to heat up towards the end. And I just like, I want a million books in this series. I want so many books following Sunny and her friends. They're just so real. They feel too like real teenagers, like real teens kind of coming into their age and like making choices for themselves, obviously like relying on adults where they want to, but also wanting to find that independence for themselves. And they're also great at problem solving, and they're smart, you know, so you really see that in this story too. But I'm gonna finish the last 80 pages of this tonight and start book 2, but this is almost 500 pages long, so I am pretty pleased that I was able to read pretty much all of this over the first few days of the week, and then I'll start book 3 tomorrow, but I won't be able to finish it, but I'm nonetheless so excited about it. Making my very quick kind of pasta dinner. I make this shrimp and burst tomato sauce. I'm adding some spinach in it today, and I'm actually making it with orzo. It's super good, mostly because you put like a whole clove of garlic in it. Normally I dice, but I thought I would do a little slice action. Looking forward to that. So I started off with just browning all that garlic and some olive oil, then I just dumped all these tomatoes in. I cook them until they burst, and then I just smush them down. I season it with a little bit of sugar, salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. After the sauce kind of really starts to bubble, I just threw the shrimp in, which I'll cook, then mix. Then the orzo is almost done cooking, and then I'm also gonna throw some spinach in here. This whole meal literally takes about 10 minutes to cook, and it's always so good, so fast, so good. Normally I'd use fresh basil, but I didn't have any, so I just put some Italian seasoning in here as well. Now doesn't this just look so good? The food to impress people without actually any work. Hi friends, happy Friday. I apologize for not checking in too much last night. Clay and I had a friend come over, and we honestly just hung out, stayed up way too late. It's been a bit of a slow morning, but I'm finally up and dressed and ready to tackle my to-do list. I'm also happy to report I finished Akata Warrior, and honestly, I just loved this book from beginning to end. It met all of my expectations, and just being back and immersed within this world with Sunny and her friends has just been delightful. The ending was explosive. I never knew what was going to happen next, and I just honestly enjoyed the ride from beginning to end. But that also means, hold on, let me grab it. I'm gonna be starting Catawoman today as well, after I kind of get a few more things I need to accomplish done. But I have almost read 500 pages this week because Akata Warrior is rather long, but I do plan to start this, maybe read 60 to 100 pages before I wrap up everything for this vlog and for today. But just wanted to let you know I've officially finished one book. I loved it. Please check out the series. It's so good. But I'm gonna get to actually filming a video right now, so I'll check it in a bit. I'm actually gonna make lunch, all that stuff. So, bye. I have made a ginormous salad for lunch using the rest of my hibachi dressing. It's so tasty. Matilda found a Halloween toy, and she is very thrilled. So I'm gonna eat this, maybe throw some Bravo on, and then do some reading. Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the end of the vlog. A few days later, I'm joined by Matilda, but I wanted to pop in and quickly wrap up everything I was able to read for this vlog. Obviously, first and foremost, I did read the 480 pages of Akata Warrior. This was my primary book for this vlog. I've talked at length about this book. I really enjoyed it. Just from the magic to the characters, the arc, the overall story we got, it was just immersive and delightful. And if you like magic centered sort of coming of age tales, this is for sure the series to pick up. I was also able to read the first 60 pages of Catawoman, which I'm really enjoying as well. There was obviously a conclusive ending to Akata Warrior, but there was also some hints to future issues that the crew might run into. So I'm really looking forward to see how that is explored, and also kind of just exploring additional mysteries within this magical world and continuing to expand in the knowledge of this magic. Also, we had some really cool reveals at the end of book 2 in terms of specific skill sets and even a bit of heritage reference, which I think is amazing. First 60 pages of the third book, immediately a fan of. I was expecting that to be the case because, I don't know, obviously I love the book so much. But anywho, I did read over 500 pages over the course of this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye.